Hey guys, Doc Green, the Road Scholar, out here with the Merrifield in the oil fields. Guys, I want to come talk to y'all today. I gotta figure out. I think I'm just gonna call my channel, the Road Scholar. I don't know. Tell me what you think, Road Scholar. Uh, anyway, I want to talk to you today about some little gadgets and gadgets that you can buy for your truck, and are they worth it? And I'll do product reviews of those as I go, but versus the inverters. You can go out here and you can buy some things, like coffee makers and things, plug in your cigarette lighters, and oh, it looks really cool. And you put it up there, that way I can have a cup of coffee in the morning. And, here's the thing. If you're going to buy a coffee maker, my suggestion is go to Walmart, buy one that runs on 110, and use the inverter. A lot of these little gadgets and gadgets they plug for your truck, especially like things that heat up, will burn up they can burn your fuses up, burn your wiring up, burn up your cigarette lighters. I know I've literally burnt the lighter part, burnt the ceramic down there, whatever that is back there, burned it up completely using one of those little coffee makers. So my advice is to always use a 110, something that you get Walmart or something, and use that instead of trying to get something to run on 12 volt. 12 volt is never meant to heat something up that much. These little ceramic heaters you buy for your truck, they sell, ceramic heaters warms up to so many space. No, it doesn't warm up anything. Don't use them. It's a waste of money. The fans that you hook up and everything, those are okay. They don't use a whole lot of power, but just remember to cut these things off when you get out of your truck, because they will drain your battery. Power inverters, same thing. Power inverters, please, you guys remember to shut them off, or you'll be going back out to a dead truck. And anyone who's driven trucks for a while knows this. This is mostly advice for a lot of the newer guys or people just getting into owner operating or things like that. Power inverters should always be hooked up directly to your battery. Now, saying that, I have a big kill switch on mine that's inside my sleeper burst. When I get out, I can turn it off. It's a heavy duty one, though. It's not something like one of those little flip switches or anything. It's a heavy duty one made for a heavy duty voltage. That way, I get out of the truck. I turn my inverter off, but just to make sure, I also turn that one off. And I used to have it wired up on my Freightliner a long time ago, where it was even go to the ignition switch. So when I got out, I could turn off my inverter, turn off my truck, get out and turn that switch in there, so it would turn off everything. It would turn. You couldn't even start my truck until you turn that back on. But that's something you might want to think about. It's just an extra deterrent for people trying to rip off your stuff. But the power inverter should be, from there, go directly to the battery. Make sure the cables are thick enough to carry the voltage and the don't. I see people trying to use stuff like little thin extension cords and stuff, trying to make it a little, I don't understand that. Don't do that. Some people try to splice into like a 12 volt supply into their cab and try to hook that to their power inverters, and then wonder why they're blowing fuses and burning things up, because that wire, or sometimes it melts. I see one truck actually start to catch on fire from doing that. Don't do that. Just hook it directly to your battery, runs up there, runs through the floor of your cab, into the back of your inverter, and always try to use an inverter and 110 voltage with that for anything. TVs, some TVs are designed for 12 volts, some are not. Today's technology, I really don't think is a problem, because they use so little voltage now that you should be all right with a TV that runs on 12 volts. Video game systems, things like that, DVRs, DVD players, all that stuff. Just use the 110. Don't buy the 12 volt ones. It pulls too much power. It was never designed for you to use like we're using them in truck driving. So yeah, try to always use 110, and make sure that when you're buying something, that your inverter. When you go buy an inverter, don't buy one of these $50, $100 inverters. Now, I did get a good deal. I'll review that one later. But buy a nice sized inverter. Buy a big one that's going to handle the wattage and everything. Because if you're trying to run a microwave oven or a refrigerator or something off one of those little bitty ones, you're just going to blow them fuses all day long. It just won't carry it. Don't waste your money. Save your money up. Go ahead and buy the big, good, strong inverters at the beginning, because otherwise you're going to end up replacing it anyway. And mount that in your truck. What else is there? Those little ceramic heaters, don't even waste your money on those. There's a little lunchbox thing you see in some truck stops. It looks like a little lunchbox, but they call it an oven. Guys, I've had two of them. since I've been driving trucks for almost 20 years. The greatest things I ever had. That is a 12 volt device that I will recommend all day long. That thing works great. It takes a little while to heat up your food, but what I do is like when I'm an hour out or an hour or two away from where I'm going, I go ahead, like if I want to eat hell, I cook chicken. I actually cook my chicken breast in there with some green beans and stuff and everything. I put that in there and then let it start cooking while I'm on my way to where I'm going. And then by the time I get there, boom, my food's ready. So that little device, and I'll show a picture of it later on, or I may do. I am going to do a review on it later. But I just want to let you know, 12 volts versus 110 volts. Stay away from the 12 volt devices for the most part, especially anything that uses that's going to heat things up, like coffee, 12 volt little oven plates, things like that. Don't use those. Those little hot plates, don't use a 12 volt. We'll just get a 110 one, use it on your power inverter, and save yourself a lot of headache because you're going to burn up wire, you're going to burn up pop fuses, you're going to burn up your cigarette lighters and end up having to buy new ones of those, and then end up having to buy the 110 one anyway. So my advice is always buy the 110, use the inverter, and go from there. Guys, y'all have a good one. Thanks a lot.